Well, hello, folks. We're the Lingenhoels with Keller Williams, Shervinick, and we are, well, I'm Arden, by the way.
I was going to say, who are you?
I've started the show too many times. I'm slipping up.
You are.
And you're who?
I'm your wife.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Lisa.
And we're joined today by Dr. Brenda Ramsey Lamoureux from West Main Vet Clinic. And you came all this way downtown.
Yeah.
Did you walk up the street?
No, but I should have.
It's beautiful out there today.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah, finally the rain's done.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Summer is here, right?
Officially.
Officially, I think it's here. So what a beautiful day today. And this perfect timing that you're here, because you never know. We might get a phone call and Arden's
she's not going to
heifer
take my phone call.
calf. No, well, we might get a phone call
Arden
from...
who?
Now, let me tell the whole story.
Okay, tell the
here.
whole story.
We might get a phone call from our daughter saying, Dad, Layla's having her calf. And then we'll all just get up and go. Brenda, you can come with. It's just right up your alley today.
Right.
We're waiting for this heifer calf. Now I'm saying it properly because
Heifer to have a calf, yeah.
heifer, yeah. I didn't even say it.
We hope it's a
properly.
heifer
Oh my
calf,
gosh.
right?
We hope it's a heifer calf.
Heifer to have a calf. This is when I say that, this means that this heifer, which is a cow who has not had a calf. So
Man,
she's a
you're
girl.
good. You're
Okay,
good.
I'm saying, oh my gosh. And I was trying to say it so well because we have the vet here and I was trying to impress her. So she hasn't had a calf yet. So she's called a heifer. And she's going to have a beautiful calf. And we're hoping it's a girl, because we keep all the girls on the farm, all the boys.
We'll take whatever
generally
we
go
get, as long as
somewhere.
it's alive.
Yeah, but she's going to have her first baby.
Yeah,
and we're
usually
kinda
the
nervous.
first
We're
baby
very
is
nervous.
the hardest one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so we're
we kind of keep an eye on
pacing.
our first babies.
Yeah, we've been pacing back and forth. When is her due date?
That's a good question. I had written down the 12th, but she was
Oh gosh.
she was bred by pasture bred
Yeah.
by the bull.
Yeah.
And so we don't have a clue when he might have got
Brenda's probably
her
thinking,
pregnant.
"Oh my gosh,
I'm
you
not gonna-
guys."
this. We want to keep it PG, right? Right. So anyway,
Okay, let's get back on track. Okay, we really do know what we're doing on the farm.
I know you
Brenda.
do. I know
We
you
do
do.
know what we're doing.
I know you do.
So let's get into our show today because we have been wanting to get you up the street on the show for quite some time. And, with the grand opening, or I guess we could call it that,
Yeah, absolutely.
of the clinic down the street
Beautiful
last week. We are just so thankful that you made time to come up here.
I'm thankful to have been asked. So
Yeah,
thank you.
well,
Thank you very much.
great,
I've been
great.
following you guys on Facebook for a while, and I appreciate being asked as a small business owner to be on your show.
good. That's what
thank
we
you.
try to do.
Yeah.
Focus on our own in Louisville.
Yes, yeah. Well, I thought that it would be a good idea to just have you tell everybody a little bit about you. Arden and Rob, I know they've grown up with you. I didn't because, I'm from out west. And I thought, let's have you tell the audience, who you, well, they know who you are. But you grew up right here, Stark County, Louisville, on a farm, I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Brenda Ramsey Lamoureux. Born and bred in Louisville, right here. 1991 graduate of Louisville High School. Grew up north of town on a large dairy farm.
Okay.
So grew up milking cows, showing cows, doing all the field work, and grew up on tractors and things like that.
Now, did you have a large family, brothers, sisters?
Yeah, I have a sister and twin brothers.
Okay.
That are all still in Louisville
Yeah.
as well. They've built their families, and we just actually graduated the last niece and nephew this year.
Oh
So
my
there
gosh.
were 13 cousins
Okay.
between the four of us kids and our families. Just graduated the last of the 13 this year.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great way to grow up, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But it indoctrinated in me a love of animals.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to work with animals for the rest of my life, but
Mhm.
and particularly cows. I love cows. I didn't want to milk them every day. Didn't I knew
Can't say I blame you
yeah, I
there.
didn't want to milk them every day. I mean, I appreciate obviously the dairy farmer and what they do, and I just knew that I was not cut out for that. But I was good at school, so that's kind of what I decided to maybe go into veterinary medicine. And also, my mom's a seamstress here in town. She takes care of a lot of alterations and
Oh,
weddings
yes.
and
She's
things.
quite famous.
She is.
Yes.
She is. We share a lot of clients.
Shout out, Debbie.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we love Debbie Ramsey. But she's a seamstress, and so in 4-H, I not only did dairy cattle showing, but we did sewing 4-H projects
Oh,
all the
wow.
way through, all 10 years of 4-H, and became quite good at that. And my sister also did it, and most of the nieces did it as well in 4-H. So I was good at school. I loved animals, and I was pretty good at sewing. So what's the one thing that puts all that
Yeah.
together?
Yeah.
So yeah, veterinary medicine kind of came natural as a choice for a career path.
Yeah.
Graduated Louisville, like I said, in '91. Had a great experience at Louisville City Schools. And went to the Ohio State University for undergrad. I did not graduate with a bachelor's. I got into vet school a year early. So I basically spent 7 years at the Ohio State University between undergrad and vet school, and came back here in 1998. And Dr. Gary Evanich and I formed a partnership and started a new small animal practice here in Louisville.
Oh, wow.
At the time, Dr. Kroc was practicing north of town, and we were basically the second in
Yeah.
Louisville.
Yeah.
And he and I just started doing small animal, and we did large animal too, because he was basically a solo dairy and beef cattle veterinarian, and he had done that for 24 years. I think he had been in veterinary medicine and just basically focused on large animal. And then when I got out, we started the small animal together.
Yeah.
And then we both did large animal, but started growing the small animal clinic from there in
Wow.
'98. And it was in a small house. We had one exam room, one surgery room, one kennel room, and the bathroom was also our dark room for x-rays.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Oh my goodness.
but yeah, it was a beautiful house, and it gave us a great start. And in
Well-
2003, we built the building that we're in now, and continued to grow the practice.
Yeah. So somewhere between 91 and 2003, there's a husband that comes along,
Yep.
and a couple of beautiful girls.
Redheads.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how did that
Redheads.
all
Yeah,
happen?
exactly.
Tell us a little bit about that.
When I was in Ohio State, actually I was a freshman in the Buckeye Dairy Club. There was a speaker that came to our Buckeye Dairy Club meeting pretty early on. I think it was fall quarter. They were on quarters then at Ohio State, and came to talk about his internship that he had done out in California. And it was my husband, Nevin. And
Okay.
he was a fifth-year senior, and I was an incoming freshman.
Oh my goodness.
An
So,
older man.
An older man.
Robbing
I
the
know
cradle.
about older men.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where we met, is in Buckeye Dairy
Okay.
Club. And then as time progressed, I actually ended up being a little sister to his ag fraternity that he was in, not really knowing that he was in that particular fraternity, but some of my friends were doing that, and we became little sisters.
Okay.
Which is kind of like a little sorority group kind of deal, but to that particular ag fraternity. But yeah, then we got married in 1993. I started vet school in 94. Like I said, got out in 98. Came back here and grew the practice. And you talk about Planned Parenthood, right? And I hope Gary doesn't ever hear this, but Gary,
well,
Dr. Evidence,
going to hear this.
who is my mentor and my friend for years. He came to me pretty early on after we started, and he's like, "I know you just got out of school. You've been in school for a long time. You've been married by that time we had been married for five and a half years. You know you're going to want to start a family, but can you wait 2 years? Let's get this started. He wanted me to, I get it. I understand. We were starting it together. It was, from scratch. And 2 years later, I got pregnant with Lindsay, my oldest. She was born at the end of 2000. She's now in vet school at Ohio State. She just got married last month.
Yeah.
And she'll hopefully be coming home in 2 years when she graduates vet school.
Now, did she find a husband down there?
No, actually. I mean, it's kind of a torturous thing, but she went to her cousin, my niece's New Year's Eve party, and a friend of my niece's boyfriend at the time, now husband, basically knew Colton through Ohio State ATI. He had been there, been roommates with a friend of Bailey's. So they met here. But yeah, now he's from Upper Sandusky, and now they live together in Columbus. He works down there with her.
Well, good, good.
So, yeah, and then I mentioned that our newer building, or our existing building, was built in 2003. Again, Gary came to me and said, "Hey, we just opened this new building.
Yeah.
Can you wait a little bit to
The Planned
have another
Parenthood thing.
Yeah.
So Lauren was born in 2004, and she is in pharmacy. She's in pharmacy school. She's on the early commitment program, so it's a six-year program at Findlay. She's in her third year, her first professional year, and she works with me at the clinic. She does a lot of the pharmaceutical refills and things like that. She answers phone, and she's getting all kinds of customer service experience at the front desk, because she was a COVID kid. She didn't get to do a lot of shadowing at any of the retail pharmacies or anything like that. So she didn't get any customer service experience because everybody was locked down for so long.
Yeah, that's true.
So she took it upon herself to ask for a job at the clinic and needed some face-to-face and some phone work, and it's done her well.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brenda and I are going to go pull a calf, and then we're going to rush back here. You think we could do it without getting dirty? I'm sure.
Yeah, almost.
But we'll be back in a second, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the practice.
Okay, very good.
See you soon.
Are you looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle with a great price? Then check out Ted's Auto Sales. Ted's has a great selection of vehicles and will find you the right one that fits your needs. Ted's was founded on trust, integrity, and respect, and has been serving in the Louisville, Ohio and Nimishillen Township area for over 65 years. So call Ted's today at 330-875-9401. Ted's Auto Sales, Louisville's premium pre-owned dealer.
Did you know that when you invest in your smile, you're investing back into your Stark County community? Welcome to Thomas Dental. My name's Tanya. I'm Dr. Mike's practice manager. Every day, we're investing back into our community. Here are just a few of our community efforts. Here at Thomas Dental, our mission is bringing smiles back to our community, one smile at a time.
Hello everyone, I'm Tegan Evans. As many of you know, when the Louisville Herald moved on into retirement, the city of Louisville, Nimishillen Township, and all of its community members were left with a void. The community lost its ability to hear about local events, news, information, sports, and community projects. We lost the ability to come together for Louisville's betterment. Well, we have a solution for you, Spotlight Media Network. Spotlight Media Network is a place anyone can go, whether it be social media, YouTube, or our website, that will display information in different formats to show the best Louisville has to offer. One last thing, if you have something newsworthy or something you would like the community of Louisville to hear about, send us an email at spotlightlouisville1@gmail.com. So if you want to see what is happening in Louisville or the best Louisville has to offer, check out Spotlight Media Network, where we know Louisville is #1.
Well, hello, we're back, and we have Dr. Brenda. See, I told you I was going to screw up.
You're just kind of like, well, you just got cleaned up after pulling
Oh,
that
yeah,
bath,
that was a
so
little
you're just
traumatic.
a little bit frazzled, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a little frazzled yet. So we have
Brenda's not. She does it every day. So
we have Dr. Brenda with us. How about that?
Works just fine. Just fine.
But anyway, she has just built probably one of the most beautiful buildings in Louisville. And it's gorgeous. I was at the open house the other day. You had an open house, ribbon cutting, and there was a lot of people there. There was a lot of people there. I was talking to Gary about that. I said, man, there was a lot of people. He goes, yeah, I couldn't believe how many people were there.
Yeah.
So all your ice cream was gone probably.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So anyway, so how did you come up with the design of that building, Brenda?
Actually, Norm Sager, architect here in Louisville, he was the architect on the original building that we built in 2003. So I knew we needed more room. I took over the practice in 2020, and we've just kind of grown, gotten to the point where we needed more room, more waiting room. Our front desk was small and kind of cramped for the girls that were answering phones and doing things up there. And I reached out to Norm Sager to see if he wanted to do that, and he did. And I told him what I wanted as far as space, new exam rooms, another treatment area, a bigger break room for the staff, and another office or two, things like that. So it was really his vision that he put on paper, and we just tweaked it, added a drive-through, the front porch, a walkway on the east side, because we have parking now in the back as well. So we need to get people from the back to the front undercover, because you never know with Ohio weather.
Yeah.
You want to give them a safe place to get to the front of the building. So yeah, it was Norm Sager Architectural and Green Mountain Construction out of Pennsylvania. They built it, and they kept us open the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
That was cool. I was in there.
Oh, yeah, it
You
was a
walked
little
through the
hairy there
plastic
sometimes.
a
Yeah,
little bit.
it was,
Yeah.
it was hairy at times. And they shut our front desk down. The whole front of the building they shut down, and we had our front desk in one of the 3 exam rooms we had, and we had 3 vets there working out of 2 exam rooms and a surgery room.
Oh, no.
It was really super cramped, but it was worth it. It was my team, my staff did amazing, being flexible. Of course, you're going to have some clients that are kind of gritching, but for the most part, our clientele was super patient and knew that this was all going to work out and be better off afterwards. And we had some relief vets come in the time that helped us as well. But no, I'm just really really happy with my staff, and our construction crew from Green Mountain had been nothing but wonderful. So it was a great experience.
Now, how many exam rooms do you have?
We have 5 now.
Oh, wow.
5 now. We just
Really?
increased. Yeah, we need to be a 3-doctor practice.
Okay.
We were a 3-doctor practice in 2020. Well, actually about 2013 through 2020. And then Dr. Evanich retired in 2020 in January. Of course, we had no idea what was about to happen in March of 2020 with COVID. So Dr. Chastity Maley and I kind of braved that storm together. We never closed. We were an essential worker, deemed essential workers. So we kept our practice open that whole entire time. And holy moly, COVID boom. Everybody got animals. Everybody was home. Everybody got animals. Everybody watched them all the time, knew if they had a little sniffle here and there, and they were calling the vet. And we had such a big veterinary boom during COVID that I had started already looking for a replacement for Gary, or another helper, and COVID shut that down. I mean, I couldn't find anybody because they were corporate vets were paying exorbitant things, and they were getting kids that were still in vet school and paying their tuition for the last year or two if they would sign on with them. And I couldn't compete. I couldn't compete. So so it was Dr. Maley and I just trying to tread water and keep things going and try to get everybody taken care of. And then in November of 2021, Dr. Chastity passed away from a stroke at 36 years old.
Oh, yeah. Tragic.
Rocked our world. Yeah.
It did.
Tragic. Yeah. Still daily think about her, what a wonderful person she was and what she brought to our practice and our community, and the animals that we care for. So we went from 3 vets in 2020 to me. All by myself all of a sudden, And
you had your track shoes on, I bet.
Yeah, and I was so unbelievably grateful. Dr. Gary came back and worked with me a couple days a week. Dr. Terry Owen from North Canton, he was a retired vet. He is a retired vet. He came back and worked with me for a couple days a week. Dr. Chuck Klein from Alliance came and worked with me a day a week. Just all these amazing retired gentlemen that came back to help a girl in need. And we were able to muscle through. And then I found Dr. Matt Hoover, who's there now 3 years ago. Hired him right out of school. He's from Mogador. Works out great. He's a great guy. Perfect fit. I mean, he's just like I was when I was his age, which is how Gary was when he was, that age. And, and it just felt right. And now we just hired Dr. Dixie Leatherman, who graduated a year ahead of me in vet school. So I knew her a little bit in vet school. She's from Wayne County originally. She's kind of had a torturous path. She's had a lot of different experiences, and she's a boarded pathologist. So
really?
She wants to teach. And so I think we're going to be able to give her that option too. But we're back up to 3, and we got it done in time for the grand reopening. And
that's wonderful.
It's just been
wonderful.
Just been a great time in West Main Veterinary Clinic history.
Well, cool.
That's great.
Now, when you grew up, I know you had dairy cows, Holsteins, and I'm going to get into this a little bit, but Brenda was like the perfect showman. And you won all the time in showmanship. I remember that. I was quite a bit older, but anyway, so now you still have a hobby showing cattle. Yeah. And I think Nevin drags you around a little bit, or you drag him around.
And that's a great thing, because that's kind of what molded Nevin's and my relationship too, is that not only we were both dairy science majors in undergrad at Ohio State, but he helped a farmer that did a lot of showing at the national and state level. We were never allowed to do that. I mean, I loved to do the county stuff and the district stuff when I grew up as a youngster, but Nevin opened my eyes to the bigger stuff,
Yeah.
the shows, and I love showmanship. That was
I
kind of
know
my
you
niche.
do.
Nobody likes showmanship, but I loved showmanship, and I took pride in that. And yeah, so Nevin and I both. I mean, we both kind of have that itch to want to breed the next show winner, and he's the background guy. He takes care of the feeding and the grooming and the taking care of the animals at the fair. And I'm the girl that, I mean, I train them at home. I help feed, I help chore, I take care of all their veterinary needs and things like that. But I show them in the ring generally. Our girls, Lindsay and Lauren, both love to do it. They both grew up doing it. It's Lauren's last year in as a junior. She's 21, so this will be our last year showing as a junior. But we still plan on continuing forward. We have about 30 animals of our own. Probably more than that, actually. Probably should count them sometime. But yeah, I mean, we're getting ready for the state fair. We have Holsteins, red and white Holsteins, and my daughter Lauren has kind of taken off in the brown Swiss cattle.
Yeah,
So,
I've noticed that. I've
but
noticed
that gets us committed to both weeks at state fair, not just the first week
Yeah,
for
you're-
Holstein. So that was kind of silly.
Each breed has its week.
Yep.
So
Yep.
now, at your practice, you have what animals usually come through your door?
So we're a small animal practice, so we mostly see cats and dogs. We will occasionally see a rabbit. We've done some surgery on rabbits, things like that. I've seen a couple skunks.
Okay.
Actually, we had a skunk came through a couple years ago that was very young. The owners had just gotten it, and they had done a bunch of background as far as husbandry, how to take care of a young skunk. And I, for the life of me, don't remember what happened to it, but it broke its front leg. And yeah, you know, when you go to X-ray skunk, they don't give you that option on the X-ray equipment. You know what you're X-raying. You know that's not one of the things that they tell you. So it had to be a cat that day. You know that we were X-raying.
Yeah.
But
Something
yeah.
similar. Huh?
So when they brought it in, did you know that it wasn't going to spray you?
Yeah, it was descented, and actually, we used to do the cattle work of the guy that sold him the skunk, and he descended the skunks himself. So yeah, I was pretty sure that we weren't going to get sprayed, but but they still kind of have a little bit of an odor to them.
Yeah,
you just put a cork in it, right?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah. I'm sure that's exactly what they did.
Well, that was going to be my next question. How do you even do that?
Yeah, you have to remove the scent glands in the back end.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I don't,
Wow.
don't know that.
I have
crazy.
this burning question, and this is a very, very technical question.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so get ready for this. How many cat and dog fights have you had in the lobby?
No. Oh.
Have you had any?
No.
Not
That
that
is
left
scary.
wound, not left wounds on anybody.
No.
I mean
Some
usually,
growling, maybe, huh?
Oh yeah, there's some barking and some growling and things like that, but
I can't. No.
yeah,
I can't imagine.
mean, it's in
No.
really
Been in
before
there.
we expanded our
Well, we have them at our place, and I figured.
before we expanded our waiting room was pretty cramped, you know. So it you had to keep them on a pretty short leash and cats in carrier and things like that. But normally, if there's some grumblings and things like that, we'll
separate them.
Yeah, we'll get the dog in the back or
Yeah.
get them in a room real quick or something like that. So we try to diffuse the situation before it happens.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So
Any other strange animals other than the skunk? The skunk probably really tops it, I would say.
Yeah, that's
pretty
interesting.
crazy.
Yeah, and we splinted that leg, by the way, with a tongue depressor or a popsicle stick, basically, because it was too little for any of our splints. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we've done like toenail trims on hedgehogs and things like that, but we're not necessarily pocket pet and exotic pet.
Yeah.
so you're not Dr. Pole, so to speak.
No, we don't do everything. Dr. Matt knows how to do some chickens, backyard chicken stuff, and he does a lot of the goat stuff. Sometimes we'll bring goats in and dehorn them in the clinic.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, it's been a few years ago. It was one of the heifers that was on our farm. She was probably 800 pounds in there somewhere. and she had broken her front leg.
Oh no.
And, I mean, we all know that, when horses or when anything heavy breaks their legs,
Yeah.
I mean, there's like zilch you can do about it. I mean,
Yeah.
usually that's when you think euthanasia, that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure why, but for some reason I decided I was going to cast that cow. So I put a cast on it. Really, I mean, it was pretty unstable. It was really a poor prognosis, but we tried, we did something to try. Well, at the time, Dr. Terry Owen from North Canton was coming. He was retired, and he was coming in to do some orthopedic surgeries. So he would come every 6 weeks or so and do some orthopedics. Well, I showed him the x-ray of this cow, and he's like, bring it in. Let's put a plate on that thing.
Oh my goodness.
Really? Wow.
I don't have a facility for that, but okay. And so yeah, we pulled the trailer up to the back door, and we brought her right into the back door where there's a little hallway, and we gave her an IV injection of a anesthetic. So I mean, she went from standing to
Yeah.
down.
Oh yeah.
Well, she put a big old hole in our drywall. Her hips kind of caught the drywall. I'm like,
Oh my
"Ooh,
gosh.
okay, Gary, I'm going to fix that. But yeah, I mean, we did the surgery basically on the floor.
Oh
And
wow.
Dr. Owen was, he was high 70s by then. He's
Yeah.
78, 79, and he was on his knees doing orthopedic surgery on this cow.
No,
But yeah, you do the best you can to
Yeah.
treat.
Wow.
I'm sure he
Treat
got
everything.
a rush out of that.
Yeah, he did. It was just something
Yeah.
to try, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
we weren't out anything but time and
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, we
That
used
is
to
awesome.
haul them down to Ohio State for major surgeries.
Yeah.
They would do
Wow.
them down there. They had
Yeah.
the facilities to do them.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
a little bit of what you do in your practice. To what extreme? Obviously the colds, the snotty nose type of thing.
Yeah.
Up to what?
Yeah, I mean, we do anything from wellness checks, vaccinations, your new puppy, your new kitty exams, things like that, to cancer treatments, to splenectomies, to mass removals, cancer removals on the body or in organ systems that we can do. Yeah, I mean, we do all our surgeries are with laser. So we're doing a lot of spays, neuters, declaws.
Do you do like teeth cleaning?
We do dentals,
Too?
yep,
Okay.
teeth cleaning, tooth extractions. We have dental x-ray to be able to see under the gum line. Yeah, we have laser therapy too. So cold laser therapy for wounds. It helps heal wounds quicker.
Okay.
It helps on some arthritic joints. We do laser therapy on everything that we do surgery on. So it helps start the healing process a little quicker. So
Okay.
after I sew them up, we run the cold laser over them. And that kick starts the healing process. But yeah, I mean, we really try to do it all. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a complete lab service. All our lab equipment, most everything I can do in-house, and we can have results within a half an hour, which really helps us to treat patients
Yeah.
quicker,
Yeah.
diagnose and treat them right now, and not have to
Yeah.
send it to a lab and, hey, I'll get back to you in a day or two when I get some
and
results.
That's what people want to know, because their pet is like their baby, family,
Right. And a lot
and
of
nobody
yeah.
wants to have to go home and wait 2 or 3 days.
Right.
Oh.
Right. They want answers
answers.
now. And,
Yeah.
and we're
Yeah.
able to do that. We have x-rays,
That's wonderful.
digital x-ray and things like that. But yeah, we do a lot of dentals.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about your staff. How many employees do you have, and some of the ins and outs of what they do?
So I employ about 20 people. There's 3 veterinarians, like I mentioned before. And then we have 4 technicians, so registered veterinary technicians.
Okay.
And they run their own appointments as well. So we have just tech-only appointments. So if they're needing a toenail trim, or their anal glands expressed, or if they're coming in for a monthly allergy shot, or or an arthritis shot, or some of those things. The veterinarian always sees them for being sick and yearly appointments. So the annual exams, the veterinarian always sees all patients for that. But the tech service kind of gives us another avenue that we can get people in and out that don't need the extra.
Yeah.
Their pets don't need the extra stuff. But those technicians went through school and they passed their VT&E, and they have to keep up with their continuing education hours and things like that, just like the veterinarians do. So I have 4 of those. 3 of them are full-time. And then I have like 4 receptionists that just are the front lines of our clinic. They are the first voice that client hears on the phone. So they are top notch. Many of them have been there for years or been in veterinary medicine for years and can kind of triage and know how big of an emergency this is, or what kind of questions to ask the owner to give to us so that we can help that pet or help that owner. But yeah, I can't rely on my receptionists more than what I do. And then I have assistants that are, some of them are high school kids that are interested in either being a vet tech or veterinarian. I have one that's graduated high school this year, and she's been with us for a couple years. She's going to Findlay in pre-vet. So she's, that'll be a nice story to watch, as she grows and develops. And we know, we were her first job. We were what gave her the foundation for wanting to do that. I have 2 assistants, actually. 2 assistants that are finishing their tech degree. They did an online veterinary technician program, and they just did their externship hours through us. So they have to send videos of all these different procedures that veterinary technicians are expected to do, and somebody signs off on them and grades them, and they have to do like 120 hours. And so we helped those 2 get their internship hours, and then there was a friend of one of the girls that doesn't work with me, but she did her internship hours with us too. So we're teaching that next group of veterinary technicians. And we've also signed ourselves up for veterinary externships as well.
Okay.
I mentioned earlier that Dr. Dixie she's a boarded pathologist, so she could go into academia. I mean, she's been offered to go to Arizona State to be on their faculty there.
Wow.
As a pathologist, and get to read microscope slides all day, which she loves.
But you don't want her to go.
No, I don't want her to go. She's got family in the area, so I think that's why she chose here. But no, she wants to teach, and so I signed our clinic up to allow veterinarians on their last month of their schooling to come into a private practice and work. So hopefully she'll get to teach some of the next generation of veterinarians, as will we.
Yes.
But no, it just gives us something to give back as well.
Wow.
Well, maybe just tell us what your hours are, days that you're open, emergency situations.
So our hours are Monday, Tuesday. We start answering phones at 7. We start appointments at 8. And we're there until 5 Monday and Tuesday. We're there until 6 on Wednesday, 5 on Thursday. And then we work half days Friday and Saturday. We are open for emergencies pretty much anytime during those hours for our own clients. I mean, we have a full book of surgeries and appointments that we do every day. So, we're not an emergency clinic, but obviously we're always there for our clients.
Right.
But there's also an emergency clinic in Canton that, would see anybody at any time during the day. They're there during business hours as well. So anything that we can't see, especially things that aren't our own clients, we'll recommend that they go see the veterinary emergency clinic in Canton.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, we want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you. No,
Yeah.
thanks for having me.
We're just really excited to see what's next.
Me
The
too.
next expansion.
Me too.
You know, the other thing that we wanted to touch on too was you've bought some property around you,
Oh, yeah.
and you do have a new business coming in that you're building
yeah,
a building
yeah.
for.
Right. So I was looking at expanding. This has been about 2 years in the making. And I bought some property directly north of the existing building. And that was going to be parking. But there was 2.75 acres there, maybe 3.75 acres. It backs up to Wildwood Park. And I knew that, obviously we didn't need all that space. And I found out that a groomer that I used for one of my dogs, Jessie Smith, who owns Glitz and Glamour, and she owned it here in Louisville. It was in the old Cottage Floral building. Was looking for another place because that place was deteriorating quickly and she didn't own it and didn't really want to put a lot of money into a building that wasn't hers. And she was just looking for land or a business, commercial property or something and could not find anything in Louisville. So her thought was, and sorry, this is a long story, but her thought was that she was going to get a manufactured home and she needed a concrete pad to put it on.
Yeah.
Cool. I can put a concrete pad. I don't want to be a landlord. I'll just piece her off a piece of property and she can put it behind my clinic. I'll share parking with her. Be good. Well, the county didn't like that. Didn't like that thought. So anyway, long story short, we're building her a building right north of the clinic it's a Sturtsball address. And it should be up and running hopefully by the end of the summer.
Great.
It should be getting some concrete poured here next week, getting some framing done. So no, I'm just really excited to be able to help her, to keep her in Louisville, keeping businesses in
Absolutely.
Louisville is very important.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're all community oriented or we wouldn't be here.
Yep.
So I'm just really excited to be able to help her expand her business and get her going here in Louisville. Because right now she's working out of her garage.
Oh,
Because,
no.
Yeah.
She couldn't stay in Cottage Floral's building because it got too bad too quick. So we weren't quite quick enough getting her building up, but
It'll happen.
she'll be here shortly. So, and we share a lot of clients, which is kind of cool too.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's great.
Just trying to help Louisville animals, I guess.
There you go. There you go.
That's wonderful. Well, we'll be down when they bring the scissors and cut her ribbon.
Yeah, right.
So,
Right.
Well,
Perfect.
we really appreciate Dr. Brenda Ramsey Lamoureux for coming on today. And she's one of our Louisville businesses, and we love to back our Louisville businesses. And Lisa?
Yeah. So everybody get your swimsuits on because
What? How did that come in?
I was just thinking Rob's just shaking his head. Anyway, get your swimsuits on because summer is here. And I'm going to go home and get my swimming suit on.
Well, I packed mine because we are.
We're on our way to Nashville.
We got to go to a wedding.
Anyway, everybody have a great week. If you are thinking about selling or buying a house, remember, we are your area experts in real estate. Give us a call. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.